knowing that October is the most green month of all months for Bitcoin gives us an indication that October is potentially going to look like October. When we look at October 2024, we had an 11% gain. 23, we had a 28% gain. And the things that I'm going to show you are going to change the way that you see Bitcoin forever, my friends. Have a look here for the first clue. Generally, we have a very strong year, then a bit of a dip, then a strong year, then a bit of a dip, then a strong year, and a bit of a dip, then a bit of a dip for 2 years, a bit of a increase, strong year, decrease, strong year, decrease, strong year coming up right now. What do you say, my friends? Because pretty much out of 12 times here, 10 of those times have been very positive months for Bitcoin in the month of October, highest bullish month out of all of the months in terms of the amount of months that it has been green within those time frames. Now, if you like Bitcoin, well then what on earth are you doing investing in anything else? Because what I'm about to show you is actually going to scare the living daylights out of you, my friend. So let's dive right in. But before we do, you best be making sure that you are subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community, because I'm giving you power alpha here as often as I possibly can, my friends. So let's delve right into today's video. And according to plan B, just like clockwork, if you have a look at the Bitcoin RSI, moving average, realized price, and stock to flow, you can see here that the Bitcoin price in relativity to the RSI and moving average, look at where we're at. We're on the yellow, we're in the yellow, light green. So we're in this zone around here right now, the 71-ish odd area, maybe even a bit lower because of the fear and greed index right now. Every single time, look at where we go after those yellow dots, boom, and then up, and look how it just carries on. Look at the yellow up into the, oh my goodness me, what can you expect for us here, my friends? 300,000, 700,000, a million? I want to know what you think down in the comments down below, because according to Grok predicts that Bitcoin could hit 260,000 in November this year. Now, if you recall, I said Bitcoin could hit 300,000 in my chart by the 25th of October, but I've recently moved that target over to about April, May next year. Well, Trump owns 9.5% of his net worth in Bitcoin and in crypto. That's 10% of his wealth. So he owns probably at least a couple $100 million worth of crypto right now, my friends. Just saying. And even billionaires are telling you to buy all the Bitcoin you can. Why? Because it is the hardest asset in the world.
My personal portfolio, the one that I manage myself and that I get to call in what asset I'm going to allocate to, yeah, I'm pretty much all in. I got about 70% in Bitcoin related exposure and 30% in gold and gold miners exposure. So 70-30. That's it. I don't have a single bond and I don't have any other stocks except my own.
Right. So on Bitcoin, I mean, I think we're down about 20% since the Trump inauguration after a big rally post-election. So buy the dip or wait?
Bitcoin, you have to think 10 years and buy everything that you can. It's not going to go anywhere except up because the dynamics are such. It's the hardest asset in the world. There's only 21 million of those tokens, and 20 have been distributed and mined already. So there's going to be 1 million more from here to 2040, I think, 2140. So it's the hardest asset. Not even gold is this hard. You know, gold gets inflated at about 3% a year through additional production from mines. Bitcoin doesn't. So yeah, it will go up and down, and there'll be speculative frenzies, and people will talk about it. But what most people should do is average dollar cost average, which is, you know, have a program where you can buy so much per month, and you buy every month, and that will take the uncertainty away. And never.
I think you're starting to get the picture here. The point being that if you are not yet positioned in any Bitcoin or any crypto, well, my friends, you need to use my Bybit link down in this video below so that you can come and trade crypto and buy on spot and remove it and put it on your cold storage wallet, please. You can also trade here. Bitcoin is now double bottoming out with a higher low than this area here, as well as a higher low than this area here. We tapped out a little bit there. Downward sloping trend, breakout, retest, retest, retest of this zone. 3 taps up, 3 taps up, okay? And potentially we could be seeing right now a very strong breakout and push up with a bit of volume coming in here, but the price action is starting to move up quite nicely. It's telling us that people are triggering their buys into Bitcoin, and of course I am now positioned in a Bitcoin USDT and a Bitcoin USDC trade here as well. Am I in profit with that? Yes, a little bit. Okay, just on the line. Anyways, so the point is that you need to get yourself down in the description, the link, get yourself a deposit bonus, go and make some money with me. We're making money together, and that's all you need to do right now. Now, the Federal Reserve says that inflation is unlikely to stop them from more rate cuts. Well, that just means that they're going to cut the rates. They're telling you, okay, money printing is about to go absolutely ballistic. Now, the Trump family have been represented a number of times in this video. They've been represented a number of times across the world in all kinds of media, and they have recently been speaking a ton about crypto and what to do with crypto. Even the president of the United States, Trump himself, DJT, is the man himself in the light, is busy pumping your crypto bags. Now, Eric Trump here says that you can literally transfer $500 million on a Sunday night with no fees, and that absolutely just scares the living shit out of institutions, my friend. Well,
for 25 years, it took me 120 days to go through a Know Your Customer, right? And you're sitting there saying, why? Why is it every week as a hospitality company, right? I'm trying to get a wire out, or I'm waiting to receive a wire through the SWIFT system, where if I don't get it out by 5 o'clock, and by the way, even if you get it out at 5 o'clock, zero chance it's making there before Monday. You know, when you can transfer $500 million worth of Bitcoin from an iPhone to an iPhone, having a wallet address, you know, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, no fees. And that scares the big financial institutions.
So when I draw the Bitcoin CME futures down to the 1 hour time frame, we've reached now this beautiful point over here. Now, what I'd like to say to you is that this is a massive V-shaped recovery. This looks like a bit of a shoulder, a head, and possibly a pullback down here for another shoulder pattern. We could even come all the way back down here, my friend, to close this gap out here, and then pull back up, and that would possibly give us a higher low, and then the capacity to break through this area right here, which essentially is all of that there too. And as you can see, the more we pull back, the more we are speaking to this particular time frame that we are referring to right there, and of course then right there. And as you can see, if we had to pull back down to this area here, look at what that would do for us if we had to put the horizontal line right there. Look at the level that it essentially gives us over there, over there, over there, over there, over there, over there, over here, over here, over here, and these all creating higher lows, and funny enough right there, possibly creating the next batch of higher lows. Now my friends, does that tell us anything about what what is actually going on? Yeah, it possibly does, but at the end of the day, we do have to close the CME gap here at this point, and it would be better for it to do it sooner rather than later. The stochastic tells us that we possibly could be doing that, but I foresee a little bit of a support zone right here at this point there. Now, next, I want to show you what I have set up like crazy for you, but before I do that, make sure that you are subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community, hit that notification bell, and of course, I'm going to take off my screen here so that we can actually get the full view of what I'm about to share with you. All right, giving you some perspective here on the Bitcoin market cap, BTC crypto cap. As you can see, this is from pretty much March 2014, and what you will notice is that all my blue blocks here have a upside to the following year. My vertical lines, my vertical green lines here are every year pretty much this end of September, beginning October, and what happens thereafter, and how much the increase was and how long the increase took. And then the red blocks here are the drawdowns and how long that took in the instance here too. Now let's just say we're starting from literally 11 years ago now. Today, my friends, you're going to be absolutely shocked when you see what it is that I have to share with you here. So first things first is, even though we had this nasty pull down here, we had an 11% return over a 40-week period, which is 280 days. From here to here on this level pretty much. We had an 11% increase. Then we had a 36% drawdown right here, but not before we actually had a massive, from here, this is the October 2015 area. We had this massive rally right up to this point here, which took us up to June in the following year. Then we had this huge drawdown here of 40% of all of this. Isn't this so ironic that it just pulled back down to this area here? Somewhat what it's busy doing to us right now from this high area here. What we need to understand here is that this ended up being a 2.66x within a 260-day period. So 280, 260, right? So far, we're on the same time frame. Now, here's the next line. October 2016. So we had how many weeks here? We had six bars. So 42 days of drawdown of 40%. Oh shit. Man, use that time to invest in your Bitcoin, man. Look at this. This here, another 36% down. And this one here, another 33% down. Well, my friends, look at what happened thereafter, okay? So we invested here in October 2016. Look at what happened. Oh, and all by the way, just bearing in mind that down here at this level right here, okay, Bitcoin was a let's call it a $2 billion market cap. And of course, today, Bitcoin is sitting at a $2.2 trillion market cap. And this is all the way 11 years down the line, right? So imagine what the next 11 years are going to be, my friends. So the more I go up this chart, I think the more you're going to realize that. So these small insignificant pull downs mean absolutely nothing in the greatest perspective of things, because look what happened here. We had another pull up, and then shit, we had a 41% pullback. The 41% pullback is of this rally here. It's not of the entire move, okay? Then we had a massive rally up, okay? We then, I mean, look at how small these squeezes are. But look at when the rally ended here. So this rally ended up being an 8x on Bitcoin, okay? Meaning Bitcoin went from a $10 billion to an $80 billion market cap in a 336-day period with multiple 40% pullbacks within that same period of time. The same thing here. Look, we had a 31% pullback. But then the following year in October 2017, look at what happened. We had then the last major rally of Bitcoin. It took 77 days. This last squirt, it's like an ejaculation of liquidity into the market, like one last major pump here. And that ended up giving us a 5x on an already 8x top up. So you can see we've made 5x the 71 billion, but yet we came down all the way from 2 billion to 280 billion, meaning we've already 140 odd x from that point, right? In the last 3 years. That's mad gains, my friends. Then we had this major long pull down, and I'm pulling it to the base of the bear market. So now you'll start to see some overlapping areas, right? Now, what happened here is we started the bear market over here, and this ended up giving us a negative 83% in the bear market. Holy shit, that was a hard drawdown. That was a bear market, and that lasted just about 5 days more than a year, right? That is quite a long time for a bear market, but so is life of the bear market. Then all of a sudden, you can see October here. Cool, we had a little bit of a pull down here in October 18, but that was your time to accumulate. And guess what? That was the bottom of that market. And then we had pretty much from December, we had the hard rally right up until July. Once again, wouldn't you be surprised the following year? I think you're starting to see the patterns and the cycles here. October down May to July following year. Okay. So then what happened? We had this hard falling down from the top here. That was a 71% drawdown, including the COVID knock out your socks out, right? Then all of a sudden we had this, from that same period of time, we had this massive pull up that gave us a 56% return on Bitcoin in the worst possible scenarios and environment, my friends, just by the way. Then all of a sudden we have this tiny maniggy little pullback here of 20%, okay? Then all of a sudden, sardine, money gets printed, just by the way, and this is what's about to happen to crypto and Bitcoin. We go from a $200 billion market cap and we blast up into the $1 trillion valuation up here at $1.2 trillion, giving us a 5x in here. But guess what? We had a 26% pullback. We had a 30% pullback. And then, of course, we had a 55% pullback and then one last rally up here. Now, look at this. We had a massive rally here. And then all of a sudden in October, we have another 70% last little squirt ejaculation in the market before we then have our nearly 357-day bear market year, right to the bottom over there. That's 2 years in a row that we have had 357 days of bear market after the peak cycle has been reached. But yet October seems to be the month, the catalyst month, that sends Bitcoin on the massive rally up until at least between May and June the following year. And that's the same general rule and pattern. Again, October, look at here, up here, 70%. October up 182%. October up, okay, and 83% so far. Look at where we're at right now. Okay, and June, July is still here. Do we have the next rally up to the upside in Bitcoin? Because all I can see is that it's actually just busy doing step ups. I mean, even our figures here are busy doing this. So it's busy going boom, 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 boom. That's the long-term effect of Bitcoin, my friends, which is opposite to what the dollar is doing, which the dollar is pretty much doing this. Okay, so, oh, my friends, which one would you rather be in, right? I am just blown away because right now, stochastic, breakthrough, boom, next catalyst to the upside here on Bitcoin. I truly hope you have appreciated this video here, being with me on the Crypto Bliss community today. If you have, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and thank you for being here with me once again. I'll see you in the next one, and make sure you just have yourself an incredible evening ahead.